Hello everyone, I'm Rodney from TheGameMan.com, and today I'm having a look at a brand new case from Cooler Master. It is their MasterCase 5. This thing looks amazing, has lots of space to work on the inside, plus it comes with this very cool freeform modular system. So let's have a look. Now a lot of cases these days come in very plain looking boxes, but this one is super colorful and has all kinds of information about the product on it. It's packaged very well between two pieces of styrofoam, and the case itself is in a styrofoam bag, plus they have the user manual at the top. A pretty sweet looking case, right? It has this sophisticated, simple design that yet looks beefy. Now this is not the Pro version. The Pro version comes with a mesh top as well as a cooling bracket which you can fit in at the top and a side window. The case is mainly comprised of steel with plastic on the exterior, and it measures in at 512 by 235 by 548 millimeters. That's the length, width, and the height. Now that's the entire case. The actual body of the case is 460 by 235 by 460, and it weighs in at 10.6 kilograms. So at the top front of the case, there's a hard drive status LED, two USB 3 ports. Notice how they're black. That's cool. Audio jacks, a reset button, and the power button. As well, you've got two carry handles and ventilation. And you can optionally install up to two 120mm or two 140mm fans, and note the dust filter. The front of this case is pretty much all mesh, so that's excellent for ventilation. They include dust filters. Here's their logo as well, two 5¼ drive bays, and just on the inside they include one 140mm fan, but the Pro version includes two 140mm fans. However, you can install up to three 120s or three 140s in the case, and as for radiator support, well, you can fit a 240 or a 280. Now that we're on the topic of radiators, you can fit a 240mm rad at the top of the case if you have the top cooling bracket, which would be optional for this particular model, but comes with the Pro version. By the way, the thickness for the rad at the top and at the front is 40mm. Let's have a look at the back of the case. They include a 140mm fan, but you can install a 120 if you prefer. You can also fit a 140 or a 120 rad back here. And note how these are grooved, where you mount the rad or the fans, and that will give you some play. Here's where you would install the motherboard's I/O shield plate. There's extra ventilation, 7 expansion slots. Here's where you would install a standard ATX power supply. Note that they have a power supply bracket with thumb screws, so you mount this to the power supply first and then install everything in the case. And speaking of thumb screws, well, they have 2 on each side panel. Now this case fits standard ATX, micro ATX, and mini ITX form factor motherboards, and as you can see, there's a large hole on the motherboard tray for the cooler's retention plate and plenty of rubber ground-mounted holes to route the cables through. There's punch outs back there as well. 25mm of space is excellent. You can tuck pretty much everything back there. It will look awesome because it's no longer on the inside of the case, plus it will increase airflow. Now speaking of hiding cables, they have a separate compartment down here really for the power supply, so you won't see the power supply cables. It also keeps it separate when it comes to heat, plus they do have some holes here for routing cables up through. Now as for drive capacity, we already know that it has two 5¼ drives, but the Pro version, you can fit up to 7 2.5" drives in, or up to 5 3.5" drives. The non-Pro version though, you can only have up to 4 2.5" drives, or up to 2 3.5" drives. Now I say only, that's the stock configuration. You can get extra cages here and mount them. To install either a 2.5" or 3.5" drive, just simply pinch on either side of this plastic drive rail, remove it, mount the drive, and then just slide it back into place. Now, these compartments, or cages, are removable. So just loosen these thumb screws. This will slide out like so, and then you can position this where you want to. If space is really tight in this area and you want to remove the drive cage to free things up, but you still want to be able to install the drives, no problem. Take this and then mount it to the bracket at the bottom front of the case. Installing a 2.5-inch drive on this bracket is really easy. First, loosen the thumb screw, take the bracket out, mount the drive to the bracket, and then tighten the thumb screw. Now let's go through the video card and power supply lengths along with the cooler height. And the limiting factor really for the video card and power supply will be the drive cage, whether it's installed or not. If you do not have a drive cage installed here at the top, you can have a video card that is up to 412 millimeters in length, but with a drive cage installed, you can have a video card that is up to 296 millimeters in length, and really the same kind of length restrictions apply here at the bottom if you have the drive cage installed or not. As for cooler height, you can fit a cooler that is up to 190 millimeters in height. And by the way, the power supply rests have rubber on them. Oh, and they also have thumb screws on the expansion slots. And while we're here, look at the fan lead. It's black, flat, and flexible. Oh, and I should probably detail what's in this accessory box. They include a lot of plastic cable ties, a fan cage, a couple of fan power cables, and a bag of screws for mounting all the goodness. And at the bottom there are 4 rubber feet, and note how the case will be kept up off of the surface. This is good, especially if it's on a soft surface, because it will allow that power supply's fan to intake cool air. Cooler Master has really nailed it with this case. Form and function in one package. It looks smart, sophisticated, but yet has a beefy feel to it. Big question here is it worth the money? And should you go for the Pro version or the non-Pro version? Well, remember, the Pro version comes with a side window, an extra fan, top mesh panel, and a top cooling bracket. So that's really up to you. You'll pay around $200 for the Pro version and around $150 for the non-Pro version. So is that money well spent? I think so. This case has a ton of features, and I think it's something that you could live with for a very, very long time. Great job, Cooler Master. Overall, this is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care. Well, that's it, but I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you think this and other videos that I produce are great, please like them and subscribe to the channel. Also, your comments are very welcome, and if you have any questions, let me know.